Spiritual Reflections 10. Signs of your past lives in your current life. Reincarnation and destiny. Have you ever wondered why, at certain moments, you feel an inexplicable connection to something or someone? Or why, for no apparent reason, you develop habits, skills, or even feelings you can't explain? Often these phenomena may be linked to your past life, to a story you might not remember, but which still leaves marks and traces on your spirit. The Spiritist doctrine teaches us that throughout our multiple reincarnations, we bring with us not only what we've achieved, but also the challenges we haven't overcome, the lessons we need to learn, and even the karmas we need to resolve. In this video, we'll explore 10 profound signs that indicate your past lives are influencing your current one. These spiritual signs, though often subtle, have the power to help us understand the challenges, talents, and relationships we face in this existence, providing important clues about what we need to work on to evolve spiritually. A deep introduction, the spiritual past and its influence on the present. Many people want to know who they were in past lives, and this curiosity is completely understandable, as the memories of what we lived in other existences still mark our souls. The Spiritist doctrine, through the works of Allan Kardec, explains that we are immortal beings, subject to a cycle of reincarnations aimed at our spiritual evolution. What we bring from one life to another isn't just unresolved traumas or unlearned lessons, but also the gifts and talents we were able to develop. But how can we identify these spiritual marks in our daily lives? Often, the signs of our past lives don't appear in a direct way, but rather indirectly, through phenomena that seem unexplainable or simple coincidences. However, everything in the universe is governed by the law of cause and effect, and the signs we encounter are the manifestation of that spiritual causality. Now, let's dive deeper into the 10 signs that indicate the presence of spiritual influences from past lives and how we can use them to improve our evolutionary journey. 1. Strange habits and repetitive quirks. The past, manifesting in the present. Many times, strange habits or seemingly illogical quirks show up in our lives without us knowing exactly where they come from. Have you ever found yourself with a repetitive behavior that doesn't make sense to you? This could be a reflection of unresolved traumas or lessons from past incarnations. In fact, these habits are trying to manifest so that we can correct and overcome them as part of a process of spiritual self-healing. These quirks, no matter how harmless they may seem, have a significant power in our spiritual growth. If you have a tendency to be excessively anxious, for example, or feel insecure for no reason, this could be a reflection of past experiences where insecurity or fear were constantly present. Healing these habits is fundamental for our evolution, as these tendencies can prevent us from achieving inner peace and true spiritual evolution. What to do? Inner reform is the first step to start noticing these habits and correcting the flaws of the past. Recognizing these behaviors and working on them through self-awareness and self-acceptance is what allows us to evolve spiritually and overcome the blockages that come from past lives. 2. Birthmarks, scars from the past. Did you know that some birthmarks can be the manifestation of traumatic experiences you lived in past incarnations? These marks can indicate accidents, injuries, or even the manner of death you experienced in previous lives. In many situations, reincarnation brings these marks as a form of spiritual reparation, allowing you to have a chance in this life to atone for mistakes made in the past. If you have a birthmark on a specific part of your body, such as your head or chest, this could be directly linked to a physical trauma from a past life. Furthermore, internal marks, such as heart or respiratory problems, can reflect experiences of suffering or violent deaths that happened in a past life. What to do? It's fundamental to understand that these marks, while they may seem like simple coincidences, are spiritual messages that need to be taken seriously. Consulting a spiritual therapist or a medium for guidance can be a good way to better understand the origin of these marks and work to transcend any negative energetic pattern that has been brought over. 3. Déjà vu. The spiritual memory. Who hasn't felt déjà vu? The sensation that you've already lived a situation or been in a certain place before. This experience, though often dismissed as a mere fluke, is one of the most common forms of spiritual memory. Déjà vu occurs when our spirit remembers a moment lived in a past life, when space and time meet again in an inexplicable way. Déjà vu can be a memory of a spiritual encounter, a place you've been to, or even a conversation you've already had. Sometimes recurring dreams can be associated with déjà vu, as your spirit connects with parallel realities from past existences while you sleep. What to do? When you experience déjà vu, try to focus on the sensations and memories that arise. This could be a sign that you are in the process of recalling something significant that needs to be understood. Try to open yourself to this experience, as it can be a trigger for spiritual self-discovery. 4. Inexplicable talents. Reincarnation in action. Have you ever wondered why you have an extraordinary ability in something you never learned in this life? Perhaps you discover you have musical, artistic, mathematical, or linguistic skills that are extremely developed, even without having had formal training or studies in that area. The spiritual explanation for this is simple. You already had this skill in past lives, and it is now manifesting again. These talents often come as a reflection of the experiences you lived, the spiritual learning you acquired, and the skills you developed throughout your evolutionary journey. What to do? Take advantage of these talents, develop them, and use them for good. This is a way to continue your spiritual evolution and to resolve past issues. By seeking to understand where these gifts came from, you can use them to help other people and contribute to the collective good. 5. Aversion or attraction to people. Remnants of past relationships. Have you ever met someone and immediately disliked them for no apparent reason? Or on the contrary, had an instant affinity with someone, as if you had already met that person in another life? These spiritual relationships are common, because according to the Spiritist doctrine, the people we meet in this life may have been our relatives, friends, or even enemies in past lives. This feeling of inexplicable aversion or attraction is an opportunity to resolve unresolved spiritual issues or karmas from past lives. Often the people who challenge us the most are those with whom we have spiritual, unfinished business to resolve. What to do? Try to observe your emotional reactions to certain people and see if there is something from the past being brought into this life. When you feel this inexplicable aversion or affinity, remember that these people may be deeply connected to you and that your relationship with them is an opportunity for spiritual growth and resolution. 6. Recurring dreams, memories of the spiritual past. Recurring dreams are one of the most fascinating signs that indicate a connection to our past lives. If you have the same dream repeatedly, especially one that involves places, people, or situations you have never lived in this incarnation, it is very likely that these dreams are referencing past experiences from another life. During sleep, the spirit is partially freed from the physical body, and while in its spiritual form, it can experience situations and places from previous existences. This can be a manifestation of a remnant of what happened in another incarnation. These recurring dreams not only reveal facts, but often bring with them intense emotions and feelings such as fear, sadness, or even joy. which are projected in a way that often leaves us with a strong emotional impact upon waking. These dreams can, in many cases, provide valuable information about issues that have not yet been resolved in your past lives, and that you need to address to move forward in your process of spiritual evolution. What to do? Pay attention to these dreams. They can be an opportunity for self-analysis and emotional healing. Record them, try to identify patterns, and if possible, seek help from a medium or spiritual therapist who can help you decipher the deeper meanings of these dreams. 7. Inexplicable affinity for specific cultures or countries. Spiritual bonds from other lives. Have you ever felt strongly attracted to a culture, a country, or a language without ever having had direct contact with it? Suddenly, you feel a deep affinity for a place or a tradition, as if you had already lived there or with those people. This is more common than you think, and according to the Spiritist doctrine, it's a clear sign that you have a spiritual connection to these cultures or regions from past lives. Some spirits carry deep spiritual ties to certain parts of the world, often due to past lives in which they had strong experiences, whether positive or negative. This connection is not merely a curiosity or a fleeting preference, but rather a memory of a spiritual identity that endures, crossing through incarnations. What to do? If you feel this inexplicable connection, consider the possibility that this affinity has a spiritual explanation. Research the culture or history of the place, try to understand more about its traditions, and see if you feel that you can, in some way, resolve unfinished business or reconnect with those spiritual roots. 8. Inexplicable illnesses and pains. The karmic effect of past lives. In many cases, unexplained illnesses and pains that appear in the physical body can be remnants of actions or choices made in past lives. If you, for example, have a persistent health problem that has no logical or medical explanation, it could be a karmic effect, a consequence of a negative or negligent behavior from other incarnations. These illnesses can arise as an opportunity for spiritual rebalancing, a chance to heal what was done wrong in past lives. For example, if someone was destructive to their health in a past life, like smoking, consuming harmful substances, or neglecting medical care, they can bring that energetic condition into their new incarnation, which manifests through illnesses or physical conditions. This occurs because the spirit carries the energetic residue of the actions committed in past lives, and this needs to be balanced or healed. What to do? It's important to cultivate healthy habits and seek to treat these conditions consciously, knowing that they can be an opportunity to transcend accumulated karma. Spiritual self-healing should also be sought in addition to conventional medicine. Practices like meditation, prayer, and spiritual therapies can help to release this karmic energy. 9. Inexplicable fears and phobias. Memories of past traumas. Phobias and irrational fears are one of the most common signs that there is something unresolved from past lives. Have you ever been afraid of something for no apparent reason? Such as, for example, an extreme fear of water, heights, closing your eyes, or even of certain people or situations. Often these fears do not originate in this life, but rather in traumatic experiences you lived in past incarnations. For example, a person who is afraid of water may have drowned in a previous life, or someone with a fear of heights may have suffered a fatal accident related to a fall. These memories stored in the perispirit can manifest again, bringing irrational fears into the current life. What to do? The process of spiritual healing involves facing these fears. By seeking to understand the origin of the fear, you begin to release the energetic trauma, either through spiritual therapies, past life regression, or self-awareness practices. Accepting and understanding the cause of these fears is a fundamental step to healing the spirit and advancing in your evolution. 10. Inexplicable affinities with people. Karmic relationships in action. Have you ever met someone and felt like you already knew them, or had an instant feeling of affection or dislike for no apparent reason? Often the spiritual affinities and even spiritual disagreements from past lives manifest through our intuition or even in immediate relationships. These inexplicable affinities can occur between family members, long-time friends, or even adversaries, and are generally linked to the fact that these spiritual bonds were created in other lives, where there were significant interactions which could have been positive or negative. What to do? Understand that these spiritual relationships are opportunities to resolve karma. If you feel a strong connection with someone, whether for good or bad, that person may be a soul you shared important moments with in the past. Try to approach these relationships with empathy and understanding, as they are a chance to heal past hurts and evolve spiritually. The path of inner reform and spiritual transformation. Now that you've learned the 10 powerful signs of your past lives manifesting in this incarnation, it's important to understand that everything in the universe is a matter of cause and effect. Every action, thought, and emotion you have now can be the key to resolving issues from past lives and, thus, advancing on your spiritual journey. The best way to deal with these signs is to seek inner reform. Working to overcome the flaws of the past, heal traumas, and evolve spiritually is the way to free yourself from the negative patterns we carry with us throughout incarnations. Self-awareness, prayer, meditation, and daily spiritual practices are fundamental for this. Transform your spiritual destiny now. Now that you know the 10 powerful signs of your past lives, how about taking the next step on your spiritual journey? Subscribe to the channel now so you don't miss any transformative content. Turn on notifications and share this video with friends and family, because helping to spread the Spiritist doctrine is an act of charity. Let's embark on this journey of self-discovery and spiritual evolution together. Learn to use these signs as a tool to improve your life and transform your spiritual destiny. Don't miss the chance to live a more fulfilling life filled with spiritual accomplishments.